Hi, this is just a quick recap of what we discussed today in class. Your homework assignment was due, and I explained that I was going to be using Subversion to accept the homework assignment. If you're using the virtual box that I've provided, you've already got Subversion. If you're using Windows, then which I'm using, and you can see in front of you now, you can install Subversion using one of the links I've provided on the website. So if I navigate to sort of the home folder, I provide a link to this site right here, which is a track project. So this is a sort of a central server that I use to manage a bunch of projects that I work on. This allows me to keep track of all of the changes that have been made. In case something goes wrong, I can roll back, and it allows groups of people to collaborate on things. I've made a project for our class called IGVA 2013, and I've created an SVN code repository with folders for each of your ASU IDs. In order to access the repository with Subversion, you first need to create an account. If you log in, there's a register button. You need to make sure you register with your ASU Right login as your username. And then when you log in, you'll have things configured so that you can access things. The URL for the Subversion repository is http://bugx.i3d.asu.edu/projects/igva2013/svn. You can peek at that through the browser. Also, if you go to this project page, I give you the download link to a Subversion client. If you're using a PC, I recommend Slick SVN. That's what I use. You can simply download and install it. If you're on a Mac, this is how you set up Subversion. It's pretty easy. And on the Ubuntu box, this is how you set up Subversion. So I expect that you can all, this is obviously via the terminal in Macs or in Ubuntu. You can all get Subversion up and running. On Windows, after you install Subversion correctly, if you type in SVN, it'll say type SVN help for usage. If you see something that looks like this, SVN is not recognized as an internal or external command, then what you need to do is you need to add to your system's path. So you need to, on Windows, this is kind of Windows specific, click on the Windows icon, right click on the computer, properties, advanced settings, environment variables, and look for path. I've got a lot of environment variables on my computer. There's path, and hit edit. And you need to make sure, I'm going to press the home key to get me to the beginning, that /program files /slick svn is in your path. If you want to make sure you've got the right path there, you can come back to it, the terminal window, and test it out. /program files slick svn. There should be maybe there's a bin folder. There we go. There should be an svn.exe. So stab takes me through all the things in there. It tries to complete them when I hit tab. If I type svtab, I see svn.exe. That's the actual program. So this is the folder that contains the program, and that's what needs to go in the path here, and then a semicolon. So the different entries in your path on Windows are separated by semicolons. On Linux or Mac, they would be separated by colons, just two dots on top of each other. When you've set your path that way, hit OK. I don't need to do that, it's already in my path. And then SVN should say type SVN help for usage. In order to get started with the project, the first thing I want to do is you need to make sure that you're in the folder that you want to put your code in. You might want to make a new folder, for the course, IGVA 2013, for instance. Make sure that you're in that folder, and then you can type in SVN, and if you type in SVN help, it tells you a whole bunch of different commands you can send to Subversion. The one that we want to do is we want to check out code from the central server. You want to check out your folder. So the command that we're going to type here is SVN checkout. Notice if you're lazy, you could just type in CO. And then you need to pass in the URL of the folder you want to check out. And that's going to be http://bugx.i3d.asu.edu/projects/IGVA 2013/SVN. Case matters. IGVA needs to be uppercase. Slash, and then under the Subversion repository, if you recall from the browser, where did I put that? Interesting. If you recall from the browser, there was a folder for each name. For each one of you. So you're gonna take this whole bit is the URL that you want to check out. So for instance, if my username is public, I'm trying to give everybody access to public, I would check out public. If my username is for instance, we did Pike W74 in class. This is what I want to check out, and when I check out that, it's going to give me all of this stuff. So this whole URL, I'm going to do Pike W. What was it? Pike W74, which is Sean's stuff. And then after that URL to the repository, I put the name of a local folder that I want to save that to. I'm just going to call it Pike W74, the same thing. And then you do --username to specify, who you are to the server. In this case, my username is going to be jfemiani, and I hit enter. And if I wasn't already logged in, it would ask me for my password, which is whatever you set when you registered with the site. And now if I type in dir to list the directory in Windows, on Linux you would type in ls. I see that there's a folder called Pike W74, and if I change directories into Pike W74, I can see the folders branches and trunk. We're always going to work in trunk in this class. So in class today I created a file called sample.txt and put it in trunk. Looking at my computer, under this folder was on C:users where was it? jfemiani, and well, let me just look there. I created a folder called IGVA 2013, and there's Pike W74 and trunk. So this is sample.txt. It's an empty file that I put in there. If I want to add files to the repository, then I just have to create. There's a multiple steps. I first create the file. I'll call it sample2.txt. And that file isn't yet in the repository. If I come back here to the command prompt, I can see that it's there. If I type in SVN status, it tells me the status of everything, and it's got a question mark next to sample2.txt, which tells me it's not in the repository. In order to add it or to start tracking changes for it, this doesn't send it in to the server, but it starts tracking changes for it. I need to say SVN add, and I'm going to add sample2.txt, just like that, and hit enter. So now sample2.txt is in the repository, and if I do status, I can see that it's been added, although it hasn't been committed. So if I go here and I look in trunk, I can see sample.txt, but that sample2.txt isn't yet in the repository. In order to actually commit the changes, so I can come here and I can say hello world in that text file and save it, which is an important step. Then I can come back here and I can type in SVN commit. And when I commit, I need to give a message saying what was done, and I'm just going to say I'm demonstrating. You would say here submitting homework 2 or something. I'm going to say demonstrating SVN as my message. So it adds, at that point in time, it adds it to the folder on the server and transmits the data. Right? Now if I do SVN status, it produces no output because no changes have happened here. When I go back to the server and refresh, there's sample2.txt. Hello world. Right. If I go to the track site that I have, I can click on the timeline and I can see that at 11:43, is it really 11:43? I committed something, and at 11:42 somebody else submitted the answers to chapter 1 questions. So I get this view of what's happened, and then also in browse source I can see these things. There's sample2.txt, and I can also when I'm looking at it through here, view the changes that were made to it, etc. There's not much yet because it's brand new. So this is how we're going to commit things. In order to submit your homework assignment, you're going to open this folder in a browser. I'm sorry, that's the wrong one. I checked that out to IGVA 2013 Pike W74 trunk. So in order to submit your assignment, you're going to copy it into this folder first. Then you're going to type in SVN add and the name of that file, and then SVN commit. In order to retrieve, every now and then I'm going to change stuff. I'm going to add feedback, and in order to get the feedback, you type in SVN update, and SVN update will take information from the server and pull it down to your local computer. 99% of everything that people do in Subversion is SVN commit and SVN update, and then SVN commit. Okay, so that's that. It may seem complicated to you, but it's actually important and useful.